Hello everyone, and welcome to this short video. Over the next few moments, we'll take you through a governance application. Now this is something that's generated lots of interest among our customer base over the last few years. And to illustrate this example, we'll go through a use case for innovation or idea management. Now before we get into the demo, let's talk a little bit about the application and why we've built it. The idea of a governance application is really crucial for any number of reasons. Right? For an average enterprise, we have potentially hundreds of different platforms and business systems that a user may need access to on any given day. Now, with all of these different systems, they each have their own settings and permissions modules, which means that ensuring the appropriate level of access can be challenging without such an application. Right, this is particularly important among larger organizations or those that are heavily regulated. Right, so there's really a number of reasons why we built this application. For one, if we can centrally manage how users are granted access to different systems, we can save lots of time through automation. And that automation also has additional benefits. If we're reducing the manual inputs, we can reduce risk associated with inappropriate levels of access. And also, through AgilePoint's automated audit functionality, we can easily prove, if ever asked, that all of the users have appropriate levels of access to different business systems. Now, for this particular use case, the concept of innovation management is something that many organizations are striving for, but in our experience, very few have a structured method of capturing and nurturing innovation across the organization. Now, as you can see here, I have an overview of the process up on screen, and the process itself is fairly straightforward. Things start off here when an employee submits a new idea for approval. If approved, we'll create the appropriate collaboration spaces in Office 365 as well as Microsoft Teams. But it doesn't need to stop there, right? If you think of all of the different sources and platforms that AgilePoint supports, this sort of centralized management of user access and permission can apply to any number of systems much more broadly. Now, with that being said, let's jump into the demo. Now, the first thing that I wanted to point out here is that I have AgilePoint's dashboard embedded within Microsoft Teams, my chat client, which means that as an employee, I don't need to leave my chat product to access all of the application and AgilePoint components that I might need on a daily basis. Things like my task list, my applications, my user productivity statistics, as well as reports, have all been natively embedded within Microsoft Teams. So to start the use case here, I'll go through and look for my application. So now my AgilePoint form is running within the context of Microsoft Teams here. And I'll give my idea a title. Now I'll classify the stage as just ready for initial data, and then classify the department which the idea is for. In under 500 words, I can explain my idea. Now in this case here, I'm given the option as to whether I want to create a new SharePoint site or not. But in this case, we'll go ahead and create one. And then the same thing for a new Microsoft team. Now my last step here is to invite the appropriate virtual team members. So I'm going to add myself as well as my colleague. And now I can submit the idea for approval. Now if I go over to my task list here, I should have a task to approve this new idea. Now at this point, everything that I've entered previously has been marked as read-only. So I'll just validate the data that's been entered and then use the navigation to walk through the various tabs. Okay, so everything's looking pretty good here, so I'll just go ahead and approve. and add my comment. Okay, so I've approved the task, and behind the scenes, AgilePoint is now provisioning the various collaboration spaces that I've requested. So let's start with Microsoft Teams here. In just another moment, you'll see another team get created, and the virtual team members will be added to that team. Okay, so as you can see here, I have a new team called Idea Management, and the appropriate team members have been invited. So next, let's check in on SharePoint. And as you can see here, just under a minute ago, a new subsite has been created. And again, the appropriate virtual team members have been added. So that concludes the content for this video. I hope that was valuable. Right? This concept of centralizing user access and management is really one that has generated tremendous interest over the last few years. Right? And coupling that with a manner of facilitating and nurturing new ideas and innovation across the organization, right? Assembling the appropriate virtual teams and giving them dedicated collaboration spaces, right, is one way to really foster a culture of innovation across the organization. That's all for now. Thanks so much for watching.